so honored to get to be here. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. And I am so honored tonight to be able to speak about America's finest, our veterans. I was asked to speak about veterans, and I said absolutely. Talk about near and dear to my heart, this subject. Sergeant Dakota Meyer, I thank you so much for that introduction. His selfless service reminds us of that love, that patriotic love that our country was built upon, and his selfless service inspires us. He and his generation of vets remind us of that courage that founded this country. In fact, I'd like to tell you a story about America's first veterans and what this city's namesake said about them. 1783, it was just days after the last British troop left our soil, and the father of our country, General George Washington, he gathered his officers in a New York City tavern to bid them farewell. These hardened men, they had fought for years against the greatest military might in the world at that time. Against all odds, they won freedom. Freedom for themselves and freedom for every American since. And standing before them, Washington was overcome with emotion. He was noting the sacrifices that they had made. He said, "With a heart full of love and gratitude, I now take leave of you. I most devoutly wish that your latter days may be as prosperous and happy as your former ones have been glorious and honorable." That was the wish for our first veterans, and it should be ours for every veteran that's followed. But we must ask, have we lived up to that? From then until now, there's been a long line of heroic vets, and they connect our history from George Washington to today, to Chris Kyle, millions like them. Millions like them, ordinary Americans, though, equipped for extraordinary things because they've come forward to serve and to save Americans' lives. How many have done more than this generation in uniform, though? The War on Terror is the longest military engagement in U.S. history. So many have served in Iraq and Afghanistan. Tens of thousands wounded. More than 6,800 dead. The strain on military and their families, it is enormous. During World War II, the average deployment in the combat theater, it was 6 months. Korean War, 9 months. Vietnam, 13 months. For Iraq and Afghanistan, an initial enlistment was 45 months. These deployment costs, they are huge and they're hidden. The longer someone's deployed and then redeployed, well, the more likely they'll suffer PTSD, and about 500,000 of our returning vets, they suffer some form of it. They suffer disproportionate unemployment numbers, and the average divorce rate, it's around 80%. And worse, oh friends, worse, the suicide rate among our best and our brightest is 23 a day. As we gather here, we're safe, we're secure, we're having fun. 4 days together at a conference. In these 4 days, 92 of our veterans will have taken their lives. So, have we lived up to Washington's wish for our vets? I don't ask this as a politician, as Dakota was suggesting there. No, I ask as one of so many mothers of a combat vet. When my son went off to war the first time as a teenager, I was confronted with the same reality that all the other moms have to face, and that's realizing that, man, I wasn't going to be there to help, to protect. Moms can't be there when they hurt. I could pray, and I did, and I do, but few things are more difficult than to kiss a child goodbye, off into harm's way, knowing that you're not going to be able there to protect. Those first deployments, that is when a parent goes from calling him son to calling him sir. America hands over her sons and her daughters in service with the promise that they're going to be taken care of. Our troops are promised that no one will be left behind on the battlefield. They're promised that a grateful nation will spare no expense to patch them up and bring them back to health when wounded. And now they come home wounded, too many, broken in body and spirit. Well, we, their mothers and their fathers and their husbands and their wives, we're here to collect on the promises made. We can't wait for DC to fix their bureaucratic blunders. This bureaucracy is killing our vets. They wait for months, they wait for years to get treatment at the VA, and they're losing hope. The VA's mistakes and those cover-ups, they have cost the lives of 500 vets in just the last 4 years, and that doesn't account for those who took their own lives in despair. A corrupt government treats our vets. The VA, putting them on those secret waiting lists and deceiving Congress and spying on investigators who are just trying to get to the bottom of it. And don't be fooled into thinking that the problem's resolved simply because the media doesn't cover lame duck scandals anymore. Just because one guy at the top resigned, well, the problems didn't resign. The reason that you don't hear about them is because our vets don't whine. They're not wired to complain. That's why this ran under the radar for so long. Well, our debt of gratitude, it starts payment with 3 simple solutions that government can and should do right now, because it is time to demand solutions. First, with health care, give vouchers for treatment outside the VA. Give our vets the same freedom that they gave us, and instead of illegal aliens cutting in line, being rewarded with a handout of U.S. benefits, no, we demand that the vets are first in line. Second, allow vets who are re-entering the civilian workforce, let them use the skills that they learned in the military. Today, say a vet with superb computer or mechanical skills. Often, they have to go backward. They have to go back and take classes to get a paper degree or paper certificate to slap on the wall that says, okay, now I'm certified in a field that they already knew. Let them test out, and their military certification can transfer over. Common sense. Yeah. Common sense, which I know is an endangered species in these parts. Yeah. Third, secure their benefits. Congress, secure their benefits. Did you know that last year, Congress actually voted to cut vets' retirement benefits by 20%. Did they vote to cut their own? No, and they only reversed course when enough of us, we rose up in protest. So take the issue away from the politicians after legislation to secure benefits permanently. Now, health care and benefits, this is just part of the equation. General Washington wished for our veterans that their deeds in war would be recognized as glorious and honorable. And the deeds have been, certainly, there's no question. But see, the thing that those vets from the Revolutionary War, what they had that today's troops don't, is victory. And that is the thing that they cherish most. They deserve to know that their sacrifices are not in vain, to know that what they fought for and what their friends died for was worth it. It is said, that old men declare wars and then they send the young ones to fight them. So it's the duty of he who sends them to actually make sure that we can win those wars. And it's our duty to elect an honorable commander-in-chief who is willing to make the same sacrifices promises he sends others away to make. We must provide our troops the political will to win and the rules of engagement to win. How many Americans are harmed today because politically correct rules of engagement are imposed by those who are just too uncomfortable to give troops the trust and the tools that they need to win? That leads to a very unpleasant question. And it's one that, well, every Gold Star mom and every veteran will live with forever. Did we actually win in Iraq and Afghanistan before we wave that white flag? The jury is still out. But when evil Islamic terrorists are on the march, screaming Allah Akbar from Syria to Iraq to Libya and Yemen and the streets of Paris, well, it doesn't look like victory. The Middle East is a tinderbox and is coming apart at the seams. It's a death cult's playground. ISIS expands. It takes back land that we just spilled our blood to secure, with their ultimate goal of a caliphate that extends from Baghdad to Damascus to Jerusalem itself. Only in Egypt is jihad in retreat, and that is no thanks to the Obama administration. Remember, they supported the Muslim Brotherhood, which was finally toppled by the people in one of the largest popular revolts in history. Now, in 2009, when Obama took over the war on terror, Islamists were in retreat, and Al-Qaeda was a broken force. Now, Islamists, they control more territory than ever. It's where they train and launch more attacks on us and our allies, and that was predictable. Military brass warned the left, do not pull out without allowing a residual force to remain, to keep a lid on it, and to retain the ground that the good guys just gained. Friends, the rise of ISIS, it is the direct result of this administration's refusal to heed that warning. It is. And now everywhere you look, well, Islamists are on the march. From Boko Haram selling schoolgirls as slaves, and ISIS crucifying Christians and burning the innocent alive in cages and beheading children, babies. Aside from God Almighty, what is the only force strong enough to keep this barbaric rolling tide at bay? The only thing standing between us and savages? It's the red, white, and blue. It's the United States military. We are in a long-term civilizational struggle against the forces of evil. Now, if we intend to beat them, we'd better get serious about victory. The consequences of weakness, it's retreat and defeat. In the past, our leaders confronted evil with moral clarity, eliminated the fascists and the Nazis. They consigned communism to the dustbin of history. Make no mistake, radical Islam is just as dangerous as those ideologies. And Islamists now, they swear that they're going to bring the fight to our shores. ISIS threatens to raise its black flag over our White House. They told President Obama, we will cut off your head in the White House. But our lead from behind president thinks that we can coexist with these genocidal thugs. He thinks the Islamic State isn't really Islamic. Pretending it's not there doesn't make it go away. Calling it something else won't make it so. And lecturing Christians to get off our high horse about radical Islam won't stop the Islamists from killing Christians. Stop blaming the victim and wake up, Mr. President. While Christians bow our heads to pray for you, radical Islamists want to cut off your head. The world that they want is a world that would submit, We will never submit to evil. We will consign radical Islam to the ash heap of history, just like the Nazis before them. Oh, the naive Obama State Department. Oh, they say, we can't kill our way out of war? Really? Tell that to the Nazis. Oh, wait, you can't because they're dead. We killed them. History proves the destruction of an enemy's military apparatus, that leads to victory, and from victory to peace. So we will not tolerate politicians who squander the precious lives of our sons and our daughters on the battlefield. And then, when they come home, politicians callously refusing to respect and repay them. Our vets deserve better, and we demand better, because, friends, if you look for the virtues that sets our nation apart from the enemy, you'll find them in those who wear the uniform, who take the oath, who pay the price for our freedom. The jihadists fight out of hatred, hatred of Jews and Christians and women and diversity and freedom. Our troops, they fight out of love, love of family and country and freedom. And if you love freedom, thank a vet. And I would ask any veteran in here today or active duty military, honor us by please standing. We want to thank you. We salute you. We ask you to stand. We love you. Thank you. Thank you. See you guys. Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys. Thank you. We love you. Look, call to action time. Conservative action starts here. Okay, here's our call to action. And not just here, but everywhere and every day. Find a vet, talk to them, thank them and honor them, and tell them that yes, you love your freedom and you know who it is that needs to be thanked. So we will honor General Washington's wish. He said with a heart full of love and gratitude to achieve glorious and honorable victory on the battlefield and help our freedom fighters, their civilian days, be as prosperous and happy as their service to us was brave and true. So with one voice, let us say, God bless the United States military. We thank you, veterans, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
Good evening.
Thank you so much, and of course, I'm happy to take any questions that you all would have for me and that they'd give me time to answer.
Well, good evening, Governor. We have time for a couple of quick questions for you, and
Sure.
we're going to do a lightning round, if you will. So
Sure.
one-word answers.
Oh,
Barack
All right.
Obama. One-word answer, Barack Obama.
sorry. Hey, we came in second out of 2. Sorry.
Hillary Rodham Clinton.
I'm sorry.
Lady Margaret Thatcher.
Iron. Bless you.
And,
Earthquake.
and Governor, we have a lot of young people with us here tonight, a lot of millennials. Governor Palin, what do you think the issues of concern that should be on the forefront of the minds of our young folks here tonight as they are the next generation of leaders for this country?
Well, hopefully through osmosis, some of the message that I just delivered will be received by them. But I know that the folks in this room get it. They have that great love and that honor of those who are willing to sacrifice all in terms of service and in the name of freedom for us. So that, but also these kids need to understand, like Thomas Paine said, if there be trouble, let it be in my day, that my child then will have peace. Meaning, we got to make some sacrifices today and not be so, well, politicians anyway, so doggone selfish that they would get these kids and then their kids and then their kids after that so in debt that they are shackled and that they are so constrained and confined to what we're doing today. It's unfair, it's immoral, it's unethical. I think it's illegal, that debt.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
And one last question. Do you think there's a double standard in the way that the media treats Republican women who run for audience as opposed to Democrat women who run for office?
Yes.
Thank you. Governor Sarah Palin, everybody. Thank you so much.